The date was November 30th, 1939. Soviet forces crossed the Finnish border, expecting a quick victory against their small neighbor. Instead, they encountered something they never anticipated: a silent, invisible enemy who would become known as the White Death. This is the story of Simo Häyhä, a humble farmer who would become the most lethal sniper in military history. Simo wasn't what anyone would expect of a legendary warrior. Standing just 5 feet 3 inches with a quiet, unassuming demeanor, he had spent his life farming and hunting in the Finnish countryside. His military experience came from the Civil Guard, where he developed exceptional marksmanship skills, but nothing could have prepared him for the frozen hell of the Kola riverfront. The conditions were beyond brutal. Temperatures regularly dropped to 40 degrees Celsius, so cold that exposed skin would freeze in minutes. Deep snow covered the landscape, making every movement exhausting. The Soviets outnumbered the Finns 3-1, with overwhelming artillery and tank support. But the Finns had one crucial advantage. They knew how to survive and fight in this environment, and Simo knew it better than anyone. His methods were deceptively simple, yet revolutionary. While other snipers struggled with telescopic sights that fogged up in the extreme cold, Simo used only iron sights. This made him faster to aim and gave away no glint of glass to alert enemies. He would pack snow firmly in front of his position to conceal muzzle flash and prevent snow from exploding when he fired. Most cleverly, he kept snow in his mouth to prevent his breath from creating visible vapor in the freezing air. The results were immediate and devastating. On his first day of combat, December 1st, 1939, Simo recorded 25 confirmed kills. Soviet soldiers began reporting an invisible enemy who struck without warning. The White Death legend was born that first week, and it would only grow more terrifying with each passing day. By Christmas 1939, Simo's confirmed kill count had reached 200. His daily routine became the stuff of legend. He would wake hours before dawn, don his white camouflage suit, and move silently to predetermined positions. He never used the same spot twice, constantly varying his locations to avoid detection. His hunting background gave him incredible patience. He would wait motionless for hours for the perfect shot. The Soviet response grew increasingly desperate. They first dismissed reports of this super sniper as propaganda or exaggeration. Then they sent their own elite snipers to eliminate him. One by one, these Soviet marksmen fell to Simo's Mosin Nagant rifle. The psychological impact on Soviet troops was enormous. Soldiers developed what became known as sniper fear, hesitating to expose themselves even for essential tasks like fetching water or delivering messages. By January 1940, the Soviets had launched Operation White Death specifically to eliminate Simo. They deployed special counter-sniper teams with advanced equipment, artillery barrages targeted suspected positions, and attempted complex flanking maneuvers. Nothing worked. Simo seemed to move through the snow like a ghost, always one step ahead of his hunters. His efficiency was staggering. He maintained an average of 5 kills per day throughout his 100-day combat period. His highest single-day count reached 25 confirmed kills, all achieved with iron sights in extreme winter conditions against an enemy that knew he was there and was actively hunting him. The legend of the White Death had now spread far beyond the front lines. Soviet commanders were diverting significant resources to deal with this one man. Entire battalions were reassigned from offensive operations to counter-sniper duties. The psychological warfare value of Simo's legend was tying down disproportionate Soviet forces, arguably saving countless Finnish lives. But the most dramatic chapters of Simo's story were yet to unfold. As the Winter War entered its final, most brutal month, the Soviet pursuit would intensify to unprecedented levels, leading to a confrontation that would test the White Death like never before and cement his place in military history forever. As February 1940 gave way to March, the White Death's legend had reached mythical proportions. With over 500 confirmed kills, Simo Häyhä had become the Soviet Union's most wanted man, with entire divisions specifically tasked with his elimination. The final weeks of the Winter War would push Simo to his absolute limits and produce one of the most dramatic moments in military history. The Soviet efforts intensified to unprecedented levels. They deployed special anti-Häyhä squads equipped with the latest sniper scopes and early infrared technology. Massive artillery barrages would target any area where he was suspected to be operating. Yet despite these extreme measures, Simo's kill count continued its relentless climb, 520 by early March, then 530, each number representing another blow to Soviet morale. Then came March 6, 1940, the day that would change everything. Simo was engaging Soviet troops near the Kola River when an explosive bullet struck his lower left jaw. The impact was catastrophic, tearing open his face and shattering his jaw. He lost consciousness immediately in a pool of his own blood. Finnish soldiers discovered him hours later, his body frozen and presumed dead. But in what seemed like a miracle, he was still breathing, barely clinging to life. The medical evacuation that followed became legendary in itself. Simo was transported through heavily contested territory to a field hospital, his survival hanging by a thread. He would remain in a coma for 11 days, awakening on March 13th, the very day the Moscow Peace Treaty was signed, ending the Winter War. Doctors had performed what seemed like miraculous reconstructive surgery, though his face would be permanently disfigured. The final statistics were almost beyond belief. 542 confirmed sniper kills, all achieved in just 100 days of combat. Additionally, he had recorded over 200 kills with his Suomi KP-31 submachine gun, bringing his total confirmed kills to more than 700. No sniper in recorded military history has ever matched this incredible record, especially considering the primitive equipment and extreme conditions he operated under. But the numbers only tell part of the story. Simo's true impact went far beyond his kill count. Soviet commanders had been forced to divert massive resources to deal with this one man. Entire battalions reassigned from offensive operations, special equipment deployed, complex tactics developed, all to counter a single sniper. The psychological warfare value of the White Death legend arguably saved thousands of Finnish lives by tying down disproportionate Soviet forces and slowing their advance to a crawl. After the war, Simo faced a long and painful recovery. He required numerous surgeries over the years to reconstruct his jaw and face. Despite offers of positions in the Finnish military, he returned to his first loves, farming and hunting. He lived quietly until his death in 2002 at age 96, always deflecting praise with his characteristic humility. "I only did my duty, like any Finnish soldier would have done." Historians and military analysts have spent decades studying what made Simo so effective. Several key factors emerge: his intimate knowledge of the terrain from years of hunting, incredible patience and discipline, mastery of winter camouflage, and most importantly, his decision to use iron sights rather than scopes, which made him faster and stealthier than his scope-equipped counterparts. The legacy of the White Death extends far beyond World War II. Modern sniper training programs worldwide study his techniques. His story has inspired generations of Finnish soldiers and citizens alike. Most importantly, he demonstrated how one determined individual, through skill, courage, and tactical innovation, can impact a much larger conflict. When asked in his later years how he became such an exceptional shot, Simo gave a characteristically simple answer: practice. But those who knew him understood it was more than that. It was the perfect combination of a hunter's instinct, a soldier's discipline, and a patriot's heart that created the legend of the White Death. What aspect of Simo's incredible story resonates most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one. If you want more real WTOT stories of incredible individuals who changed history against all odds, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video about the secret race to capture Hitler's top scientists.